They keep leaking. They go, there's no biolabs in Ukraine. They're like, well, there were some, we were doing some help with the bio.
Well, not only are there biolabs in Ukraine, there are a lot of biolabs in Ukraine which are working on biological weapons. That's what they're not there for livestock vaccines, sorry. You know, the thing that people don't in this country understand is that the Ukrainian military is selling about half of the arms they get from the United States into international black markets, and they're winding up in some cases with the drug cartels in Latin America. That's a fact. Okay, it's a fact. And you can buy them. And I spoke to someone who did buy some, actually. So I know this is a fact. And they're bragging about it. So they're selling conventional weapons, including weapon systems that are very dangerous and very destabilizing that would make commercial air travel impossible, for example.
Right.
And so what are they doing with the pathogens in those biolabs? And does the Biden administration have a manifest? Do they know exactly what's in those labs? And will they turn it over to the Trump administration so we can keep track of these things? And the answer is no, actually. The answer is no. I know this.
Wow.
So that's like the scariest thing that's ever happened. And so like what, you know, like I think the Ukraine war has the potential to destabilize the world more than anything that's happened in my lifetime, just because of the scale of the weapon systems and biological agents involved in the most corrupt country in the West, which is Ukraine. I'm not attacking Ukraine. I feel sorry for Ukraine, but what the hell?
Yeah.
And so we could use that's why I'm saying this right now, because I hope this is widely disseminated, because I think it's like the scariest thing I've heard in a long, long time.
That is scary.
But it's all flowered in secrecy. That's the point.
Yeah.
The only reason this stuff has happened, like this end of the world stuff has happened, is because there's no disclosure at all. Everything is
right. Oh, it's so much pent up stuff.
So much.
I mean, we have the JFK files, the UFO files, UAP files, I'm supposed to say. Yeah, there's so much there.
So I spoke to someone about the UAP thing. Now we're so far afield, but I do think it's all connected. No, it is all connected, though. It's like none of this stuff happens except in secrecy. And I said, let's stop playing like I've been talking to these people for years now. And the answer was the public is not ready for this information because it's too much. And what's your view of that? And this is someone who's pushing disclosure, by the way. This is not.
I know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm worried that it's bad news.
Well, that's the point. It's bad news.
Yeah, I'm worried it's bad news.
Really bad news.
Yeah.
Do you think that's true?
Well, I don't know.
Notice I'm not even saying it because I don't know if it's true, and it is bad. It's super bad.
I mean, it seems like the dominant two theories are now that it's non-human intelligence, or that we or our adversaries have mastered anti-gravity technology. The other scenarios of, some kind of new plasma or, it's just kind of, the phenomenon doesn't seem to be showing up in that way.
Well, the core idea seems to be that there is non-human intelligence, whether all these manifestations of it are that, or whether they're government programs or Chinese or whatever. I mean, it's probably a pastiche of all of them. But the core idea seems to be that there is non-human intelligence, which is plausible, and that it's been in interaction with the U.S. government for quite some time, and that it plays a role in our.
What role is it playing? I mean,
well, there are all these things that I don't know what is true or what's not true. Do you think any of that is true? I know you've done work on this. We did an interview with a woman called Casey Means. She's a Stanford-educated surgeon and really one of the most remarkable people I have ever met. In the interview, she explained how the food that we eat, produced by huge food companies, big food, in conjunction with pharma, is destroying our health, making this a weak and sick country. The levels of chronic disease are beyond belief. What Casey Means, who we've not stopped thinking about ever since, is the co-founder of a healthcare technology company called Levels. And we are proud to announce today that we are partnering with Levels. And by proud, I mean sincerely proud. Levels is a really interesting company and a great product. It gives you insight into what's going on inside your body, your metabolic health. It helps you understand how the food that you're eating, the things that you're doing every single day are affecting your body in real time. And you don't think about it. You have no idea what you're putting in your mouth, and you have no idea what it's doing to your body. But over time, you feel weak and tired and spacey, and over an even longer period of time, you can get really sick. So it's worth knowing what the food you eat is doing to you. The Levels app works with something called a continuous glucose monitor, a CGM. You can get one as part of the plan, or you can bring your own. It doesn't matter. But the bottom line is, Big tech, big pharma, and big food combine together to form an incredibly malevolent force, pumping you full of garbage, unhealthy food with artificial sugars, and hurting you and hurting the entire country. So with Levels, you'll be able to see immediately what all of this is doing to you. You get access to real-time personalized data, and that's a critical step to changing your behavior. Those of us who like Oreos can tell you firsthand. This isn't talking to your doctor at an annual physical, looking backwards about things you did in the past. This is up to the second information on how your body is responding to different foods and activities, the things that give you stress, your sleep, et cetera, et cetera. It's easy to use. It gives you powerful, personalized health data, and then you can make much better choices about how you feel. And over time, it'll have a huge effect. Right now, you can get an additional 2 free months when you go to levels.link/Tucker. That's levels.link/Tucker. This is the beginning of what we hope will be a long and happy partnership with Levels and Dr. Casey Means.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, I covered the New Jersey drone situation. I went to Jersey and interviewed a bunch of people. I mean, the weirdest moment is where you have John Kirby, the Defense Department spokesperson, and Mayorkas, basically on the same day or the same 48 hours, just when they were asked about it, they just came out affirmatively and they were like, well, we're definitely not getting any drones over the military bases or other sensitive sites. And I was like, why would you lie about that? I couldn't because, of course, all else being equal, I think that people don't want to lie. Politicians don't want to lie because it just creates more work or hassle for them.
Complicates your life, yeah.
Complicates your life. Honesty is the best policy. So why would they lie about that? Especially because the Wall Street Journal had they did this huge piece about all of the drone, so-called, unidentified anomalous drone flyovers over the military bases and sensitive sites, which includes nuclear plants. I mean, part of my interest in this was always, I was trying to save Diablo Canyon in California. They kept getting drone flyovers. Also Palo Verde, which is our biggest nuclear plant, 3 beautiful reactors there in Arizona, a lot of drone flyovers. I'm also from Northeast Colorado, which is where, the ICBMs are. They had this exact same drone situation. I believe it was December 2019. And they had this whole interagency task force, and they were like, oh, we're going to put a plane up. And they kind of put a plane up, and you're watching them, you're like, well, why are they not scrambling jets? What are we doing here? This is really bizarre.
It doesn't make any sense.
I can't figure it out because I think the other issue is that they may not know. I mean, okay, well, so to finish that story, so then Drone and Mayorkas do that. I go out and I'm just like, that's the weirdest lie because it's been heavily reported. I mean, the drones over sensitive military bases is really well reported. And some of the best reporting was by a publication called The War Zone, which I highly recommend. Very good, serious investigative reporting. They don't believe it's aliens at all. They're just openly anti-alien. They're this is, and I think it's, well, anyway, for whatever reason, they're just this is Chinese or Russian or whatever. They're not taking it seriously, but they do some of the best reporting because because they can't figure out why the military is being so weird about it. So then Trump comes out and he goes, they know what it is. I don't know why they're not telling anybody.
And I'm going to tell everybody on the 20th.
I mean, first of all, I'm really happy that they're going to disclose, and I want to raise expectations about what the Trump administration is going to do. We want the data, and I mean, someone was criticizing me because they were like, because I came out and I said, I'm confident the Trump administration is going to share the data, and they're like, that just shows that Schellenberger is, it's pro-Trump and whatever. And I was like, no, I'm just pro-disclosure. I want the expectations to be high because they should be high. There is so much information they're not releasing. So, they were over Bedminster, and he's talked about it twice now, by the way. So look,
he's distressed about it. Obviously.
He's worried about it. So we're either headed for a pretty epic moment of disclosure. There's another part of me that worries. So it seems like, yeah, they could do disclosure and we could find out what it is. It could be aliens. If it's aliens, that's just a whole can of worms. And then you have to be is there, do we talk to them? And if so, who's doing that?
Do you think we have?
I genuinely don't know. Yes. I genuinely don't know. I mean, there's this guy named, I can't remember his first name, Stringfield. He wrote this incredible thick book of UAP crashes, crash retrievals, and he started doing it, I want to say 50s or 60s. And I think he went for like multiple decades. And you just sit down with that book and it is like, it's impressive. I mean, if it's a hoax, it's just one of the greatest hoaxes of all times. You know, like other hoaxes, you know, like the Protocols of the Elders of Zion or whatever, they're really bad. Like they're really, you're just like, this is like the dumbest hoax ever. Like most hoaxes are not that sophisticated with all these details and all these people interviewed. Of course, Roswell is the big case, but it's only apparently one of them. There's others. So there is this incredible, you know, gray literature, never published by any academic press, by any really, a little bit of commercial nonfiction. Obviously, you have David Grush and Lou Elizondo. I testified in front of Congress on this I guess I was in December or November, and you know, the two guys from the military, when we were asked what are they, two guys said non-human intelligence, and then me and the NASA guy said we don't know, because I just don't. I mean, I just.
What do you think the drones over New Jersey were?
I mean, look, here. Let me tell. Let's just look at the possibility that they're human. They didn't get a single one of them. They didn't down a single one of them. Not a single one of them crashed, and there was a lot of them. And there was a lot of there's a lot of mistaken sightings. You know, it is easy to mistake things. It's totally natural. Sure. But there was also. I mean, I interviewed mayors. Two mayors were like, one of them was like, I had an SUV-sized drone flying over my house. Another one said he was going to a Fox News interview in New York. The car came from me, walks out his door, and there's one hovering right over him. And he said it, you know, felt like it was watching him, like it was there monitoring him. I mean, that's weird stuff. So we can't get a single drone down. They're over military bases. They can't seem to get any of them.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.